So, it's July 11th, 2018, and I am at the Batman 66 show at the Hollywood Museum, right in Beverly Hills, not too far from the corner of Hollywood and Vine, certainly not too far from where Hollywood, La Cienega, and all of the other cool, dingy boulevards in California and LA really are. I'm starting with this event, and I call this an event rather than an object because there's something absolutely ideal about this for the To the Batpoles podcast. First of all, it's an autographed copy of the Batman 66 movie poster. It's covered with ink, as you can see. I'll let whoever is listening and viewing to check out the various signatures. I see Julie Newmar. I'm sure you can identify many more. What we've also got here is Bat Communicator, a couple of models, probably just toys, of Batboat and the Batmobile. But Tim, this is for you specifically because since we have not yet been able to find our Adam West signed copy of the Viewmaster package from 1975, 77, this may be as close as we get to having a gander at it again, but it does bring back memories, doesn't it? Yes, the first Catwoman episode, committed to 3D and Viewmaster by our good friends at GAF. All right, 21 stereo pictures, it says. Now, most of this part of the exhibit is what we might call Bat Guano. Toys, records, tie-ins of all sorts. Another Batman poster for the movie, that is. Maybe a little bit more familiar, and certainly that is covered with signatures. As you can see, we have hand puppets, we have the Batman alarm clock that used to be advertised on Saturday morning TV. We have the Aurora, and a plastic snap-together model, fully painted. I remember seeing that. I'm not sure if you can see it up there on the left, but it's got the yellow backdrop. It's, the Adam West figures set up in front of the box. There's also, I don't think I'd ever seen it in person or in figure or in model before. I'd only seen it in ads in comic books drawn, I believe, by Carmine Infantino, as is the box. Now let's see. Some records that we're familiar with: the Batman and Robin game, a copy of the Aurora Batmobile model, and then if you see there, right in dead center behind the Joker and Batman pencil sharpeners, there's a lunchbox that I remember my friend, I believe it was Mike Moyle, having in 3rd grade or 2nd grade. One of those slightly creepily drawn thermos, or maybe it's a different company, lunchboxes. And the thermos right next to it. Oh, it doesn't say which manufacturer we've got there, but I don't believe it's thermos. Aladdin, perhaps. Tim will recognize this coloring book. It was given to us, I believe, by our fellow Uncle Don, a great aunt and uncle, my mother's aunt and uncle. Infamously, there's a page somewhere in the midst of the coloring book in which Robin, who looks more like Carmine Infantino's, I believe it was drawn by Infantino, looks more like Infantino's Robin than the Acceptor of Ward, is looking up and slapping his head. His head is covering, his hand is covering his head, part of his face and his hair. And Aunt Velma, as we were coloring that page, infamously looked at it and said, "Does he have a headache?" And in fact, I believe he's smacking his head to say, "Holy something or other." Ooh, I noticed that MeTV is playing here, an endless loop of various clips from our favorite episodes. Those frame puzzles, Whitman puzzles, I believe. I'm not sure I'd ever seen those before. Let's check this out. Here is apparently the posing of that Life magazine cover that so many of us have seen, with Adam West jumping and appearing to fly with motion lines drawn around him. As you can see there at the bottom of the cover, this is apparently the photo shoot of that Life cover, and you see that Adam is holding on to a metal frame, it looks like, or some hastily... Oh, I see what it is. That's marker line. They've got him jumping off of a small box, and there's magic marker line there, probably sharpied in by the editor or perhaps even the photographer, making the decision of which part of that image to use in this. So if we kick this on its side a little bit, you can see just how much the two resemble one another. So then, of course, all of the brick wall was taken out. Anything suggesting the box or the shadow was all airbrushed out. And it looks as though this might have been maybe an outtake photo, one of the possibles that was eventually used for this pose, because the smile on Adam West's face is much wider on the Life magazine cover, and notice his left hand is also in a different position. So this might have been one of the kills, one of the throwaways from that event. Giant representations of the infamous Batman cards and trading cards, which also were packaged with the initial Blu-ray Deluxe set with the series in 2015, was it? 14, 15? Anyway, just got to have another look at this because, as you'll note, not only do we have the autographed poster and the infamous Viewmasters, but we also have a Batarang. And a really, really sharp one too. It looks like it's probably made of wood rather than plastic. What do we have here? Oh, the original for the Batman album. The caption says the album cover for composer Neil Hefti's Batman theme and 11 Hefty Bat Songs album. Nice logo there. I'd love to have a copy of that record. It's an RCA Victor. Dyna Groove, Batman Utility Belt, and Hefty in Gotham City, a record that I found at a used record store in Hanover, New Hampshire, and it's quite a prized possession, even though the theme itself is probably the only recognizable music from the show on this record. There's also a fair amount of instrumental experimentation, sort of theme and variations on Bat stuff in the rest of the record. Very short record, but a very fun listen. Various Batman costumes here too. Notice the one that looks an awful lot like a spacesuit. So look at this. Holy Hollywood History, Batman 66 retrospective. The impact of the iconic Batman TV series is still being felt 52 years later. No kidding. And look, our friend Wally Winger, the museum curator. I'd completely forgotten that Wally was instrumental in making this come together. Oh, this is great. I wonder if this is from Wally's collection. All of this Bat stuff. We have a list of fight words. Of course, this sort of thing is kind of the status quo at the Hollywood Museum. These kinds of lists in the horror film dungeon, they have lists of the 5 things one should never do in a horror film, like leave the group, for example, or go into the house. Here, they've listed as many of the fight words as they could possibly cram together. But look at what we have here. I'm going to have to put the camera down and just look at these myself, because looking at them through a camera just doesn't do them justice if you're right in front of them like this. But oh my goodness. We have the Merryweather's costume, we have a Julie costume. We have one of the Catsketeer costumes, Leo, etc., from the first appearance of Catwoman. This is Romero's Joker costume. Up there in the corner, I'm not quite sure. That might be the Black Widow's costume, might be Tallulah Bankhead. But we've got, it looks like a false face costume. Clearly, Vincent Price's Egghead costume, complete with Egg Communicator. So I think that might be Lee Merriweather's costume, because this is clearly a representation, at least, of Duke Numa. And there's the costume. Oh my goodness, she's even got the golden cat strapped to her waist. I am in love all over again. The sign from the Penguin's Nest. Oh, the restaurant. The screen-accurate replica of the Total Dehydrator. It's not the real dehydrator. But anyone who's seen the end of Avengers Infinity War is wondering whether Thanos had one of these at his disposal. No doubt. No doubt. Oh, Marvel Deep versus DC once again. Oh, there's the Riddler costume. There's Eartha Kitt's costume as the Catwoman, and she has a cat pistol, as you can see. Some ATV clips again. One nice one of the Catwoman there. Here's the, I'm sorry about my shadow, but here is the legend for Jane Kemp's costumes. And you might have noticed over there on the left, Tim, that darn Leslie Gore. Let's have a look. Yeah, Lee Merriweather twice over, number 15 and 16, Catwoman and Miss Kitka. Here is that darn Leslie Gore. They didn't try to replicate her face as they did with, say, Julie Newmar with the Kit, but nevertheless, this is the costume. Hi, I'm Pussycat, but you can call me Cat. I guess whether that line ever existed depends upon your belief in the Batman Apocrypha. But the whole St. George and the Dragon story has always struck me as a little unrealistic, so let's just skip it. Okay, there's the male bat cycle. I don't believe that we can necessarily tell by checking out its nethers whether that's a boy or girl, except it doesn't have doilies attached to it, so it can't be Batgirls. But there is a representation of Yvonne Craig with the Batgirl costume. Oh, here's this. Oh, you know who this is. Something a little bit chilling about walking around these two figures three-dimensionally, because we've put a lot of care into producing the impressions of the faces of Adam West and Burt Ward. Well, Burt Ward maybe not so much, but the Adam West face is really exceptional. You get a glimpse of the eye there. Wow. Now, Wally, Tim, Ken, High C, all of the other, Clavieronc, all of the other wonderful correspondents and experts that we've come to know during To the Batpoles podcast's history may have a better idea of which cowl this is than I do. I'm going to see if I can find out from maybe asking one of the attendants. They don't really have docents here, but I want to find out if they would know the provenance of this cowl. There's the bat shield. And some days you just can't get rid of a bomb because there she blows. And I think anyone who's watching this knows that that red outline can only mean one thing. Let's do a little zoom out, or a track out, I should say. Because there it is. It, meaning one of God knows how many Batmobiles. Yes, I know Wally knows, so it's not that God is the only one who knows, although Wally may very well be a deity up there with Dozier and or Semple, perhaps as part of the pantheon. Hey. Very, very nice. This may be the first time I've ever seen a Batmobile that may or may not have been used for the show without the flocking that Tim and I came across when we saw Adam West at the car show back in the late 70s. I'm not sure about the cowl here. I'm going to find out as much as I can. But let's take a look at the suits. Yes, there's the there are the green underpants that Burt Ward is having unzipped, unrealistically, since there's no zipper on the cover of Boy Wonder My Life in Tights. Notice the boots are suffering from some decay there, at least just some wear. And look at the coloration of various parts of the cowl. It looks like Adam West's figure here is wearing a California raisin costume, at least wrapped around the top, or maybe a burqa, California raisin burqa. So here's what the signage says. The original Batman and Robin costumes worn by Adam West and Burt Ward did not age well over the past 50 years. Some of the materials that were used have faded in color and have lost their elasticity over time. Nonetheless, the monetary value of these rare costumes is stratospheric. They've included newly fabricated screen-accurate replica costumes made from the original patterns. That was what we came upon first. And original non-faded colors for comparison. Although I wonder if that cowl over there, you can see it sort of over the shoulder of the costumed Robin mannequin here, the one wearing the legit on-screen costume. But the Batman back there behind, I wonder if the bat cowl is a little bit dark compared to its actual, but I don't think so, because the cape, the original cape here, as opposed to the replica cape here, they're the same color, and the original cape seems to have retained a good deal more of its color than sateen or satin at the top of Batman's cowl. Oh, sorry about the reflections here. So this is a Batmobile screen-accurate replica. I see, detailed and created from a full-body casting of the mold of the original TV Batmobile and reconfirmed with new hand measurements taken from the original Batmobile vehicle. Custom built to the exact specs. Even the rims, the tire rims, were reproduced by the same company that provided the original rims. Well, there's provenance for you. A little bit suspect, since they probably didn't use any of the same factory materials and presses and such, but who knows? It doesn't say on this card where or why this replica was created. Oh, I see. George Barris is very respectful of this screen-accurate replica. He's commented on the immense amount of work that went into the car. This Batmobile is the only Batmobile replica that's been invited to Barris Automotive for viewing, and it was driven by Adam West in the feature film Super Capers, so it has actually touched the flesh. It has trod the ground upon which Adam West trod. Even the bat spinners on the wheel centers were installed with the ability to be adjusted for level display. Oh, wow. A little better look at the side. This is all behind glass, of course. Some of the reflections are just atrocious. But, boy, you know, there's so much I'm realizing that I haven't been looking at. If I look at something nearby, I'm missing what's in the deep space of the case here. There's the Bat radar scope. It looks much less technical and much less convincing when it's not, you know, shown to us on a 21-inch black and white or color screen, or even a home HD TV screen, 1080p Blu-ray image. Let's see, there is Otto Preminger's Mr. Freeze costume. There again is Yvonne Craig's her star chair next to her, underneath her cape there, as well as the figurine. Batmobile replica. Gotham City 14 miles. Who knows if that's the original sign, but it's certainly a decent replica. I couldn't reproduce it necessarily with pencil and paper, but I know it's right. It just feels right. It fits into the Gotham City 14-mile shape that is permanently cut into my head. One last thing here is maybe a shot of the bat spinners. man, that is beautiful. It's beautiful in the most nerdy way possible. Batman 66, Batmobile press release. Who knew that it had a press conference? I wonder if it talked about that scandal with Marilyn Monroe. Oh, well, I guess I'm just getting mixed up with other things that have appeared in the Hollywood Museum. There's a huge Marilyn Monroe exhibit downstairs. Just giving you a look at screen-accurate 1966 Batmobiles built for several movies. Bob Butts is a name that's coming up here as a designer in charge of attempting to replicate faithfully these the Batmobile specifications. I would just leave someone to transcribe this. If we're able to show this video, perhaps someone can do some freeze framing and transcribing. Maybe it'll even be me. Portable fire extinguisher. These are original requirements for the 1965 contract? Huh. This is all info provided by 1966batmobile.com. Owner shall either provide, install, or provide for the installation of the following items: the Bing Bong warning bell and bat light flasher. Well, thank you very much. And here's Robin, as usual, always doing the dirty work with the hose. Camping trip in real life. Oh, this is a screen-accurate replica of the Gotham City 14 Miles road sign. Well, kind of a shame, but screen-accurate? Yep. There's a lot of that here at the Hollywood Museum. They do a nice job of marking, for the most part, which of these objects are legitimate and which of them are screen-accurate replicas. These are a couple of nice civic responsibility Batman quotations. Batman, better put 5 cents in the meter. Robin, no policeman's going to give the Batmobile a ticket. Batman, this money goes to building better roads. We must all do our part. Robin, you can't get away from Batman that easy. Batman, easily. Robin, easily. Batman, good grammar is essential, Robin. Robin, thank you. Batman, you're welcome. That's an exchange there wouldn't have been any time for in a third season scene. And it's a damn shame, too. Pardon my French, Yiddish, whatever it is that I'm speaking. Oh, you know, Tim, I think we should just use this as our logo from now on. Although we should definitely... No, we can't do that. Copyright problems, no doubt. But here is the Batpoles. Here's one of Wally's drawings. A nice drawing of the Wayne study. And actually a drawing probably envisioning this very part of the exhibit. Wally, you did some remarkable work here. Shakespeare's had his throat cut. Somebody call the Elizabethan police. Replica of Commissioner Gordon's bat phone hotline. But this is the original screen-used monogrammed Wayne plate, somewhere on the Wayne Manor set. And this is not the real bust, it is a screen-accurate bust. The switch provided secret access to the Batpoles. Looks like there was an egg timer, effectively stapled to the center of poor Shakespeare's, the nape of his neck. Access to Batcave via Batpoles. Oh my goodness. Yes, not real, screen-accurate. The replicas, I'm quite certain, but awfully nice to see. And there they are, the headless batsmen, in all their full loungewear regalia, including the ascot. I'm thinking now of a song by the AC/DC, Louis XIV's AC/DC band, tribute band called Upper Crust. Got my ascot in my dicky. The situation is tricky. I don't believe anybody's got a dicky here, though if there were one, Well, I guess this is Dickie right here, headless Dickie Grayson. Now we're just on improv. It's Friday night at the Hollywood Improv, except it's Wednesday. This is interesting stuff. We could ask Wally about all of this, but this is just about screen-accurate replicas. The acetate element that gave the stretchy fabric its sheen didn't take dye well. Within just a few months of dyeing it to the original navy blue color, the lights, the heat, and the elements would begin to turn the fabric purple. We are thrilled to put on display most of the very few existing original costumes and screen-accurate replica costumes in this first ever Batman 66 exhibition. I should mention, if you didn't know this already, there's Dick Clark on one of the many MeTV screens that are playing continuously during the exhibit. I should mention that this is my first crack at this exhibit, and that means that I am seeing everything for the first time, just as I am describing it to you. So, I need to take another look, obviously. But, some of my hemming and hawing is just natural bat-pole hemming and hawing that you're all familiar with. But some of it is just like awe, not knowing where to look next, this and that. This is just an exhibit showing the special guest villains to good effect: Roddy McDowell, Ida Lupino, Baxter. Oh, yes. You know who this is for. Colonel Gum, Carmel, Harry Mudd. It didn't occur to me, maybe it occurred to me on the show, but I'd forgotten it now, but Gum and Mudd both have double consonants at the end. I wonder if that's part of Roger Carmel's contract, or was part of his contract, that if he was going to play a minor, really irritating villain on Star Trek, Batman, or any other show, that he would have to have a double consonant plopped at the end of his name. This is pretty much the whole exhibit. I'm going to spend some more time drinking it in. But man, oh man, I think I don't have a lot of choice in the matter. My heart, eyes, and mind are just drawn straight to this. That lovely recreation, not only of the original Bat costume. This is the replica, and this is the screen original. But this is a quite lovingly reproduced image or effigy of Adam West in his mid-30s glory, and especially with a bat shield in front of him as if protecting him from time itself. It's weirdly a little bit moving. Oh, you know what? I'm seeing the surfing episode right over here on the TV screen. They're showing Surf's Up, Joker's Under. Escape that rear projected wave, Batman. Watching these montages is kind of fun because they're, in some ways, because they're less narratively coherent, they're somehow more visually coherent than watching an episode of the third season, at least. Well, we don't see that much anymore in the third season, do we? We're just driving around. There's no time. There's no time for driving between Gotham and the Batcave stock footage. Oh, I see. Oh, no, I see. I don't think you like Louis all that much. But there was a nice Joan Collins moment there. So, I'll leave you with this. Speaking of Avengers Infinity War, here is the screen-accurate replica of the dehydrated henchman from the 66 movie. Looks like they would make very nice, kids' drinks, possibly Gatorade, all different flavors. They might be made into various kinds of popsicles, but whatever the case, if they taste like henchman sweat, don't hesitate to ask for your money back. All right, so, I think instead of the powder there, I'll close in on the Catwoman's cat and on the lovely faces of these mostly generic dummies of the Mad Hatter, David Wayne, of the Bookworm, Marty McDowell, of the Riddler, and his Frank Gorshin incarnation. But then the women, of course, get these beautifully rendered faces, probably because fetish. Anyway, I don't think that there's any question about why we're seeing the women's faces so painstakingly recreated in wax or plastic and not the men's. But there she blows. Julie Newmar as 66 Catwoman in all glory, and there's plenty of glory there to be had. So let's leave it right here with the holy trinity of Batman villains. And thanks for following me along in this little excursion. Back to the Batpoles. And here's a little bit. Here is a bit of bonus footage. Here is a bit of bonus footage for perhaps our Patreon listeners, perhaps. Oh, a little bit of business I missed as I was walking through the exhibit the first time is 4 glass cases filled with scripts, as well as other bat guano, other bat memorabilia, and bat cross marketing, bat tie-ins. But this particular case has primarily technical information from backstage at the show. So this is a photo of Madge Blake. This is her manila envelope addressed to Madge Blake, although we don't get to see the address. But here is the Batman return address for, no doubt, for Dozier's office or just for this show. Although it doesn't say anything about Greenaway. It just locates the Batman show on the 20th Century Fox lot, or really box 900. Batman's The Impractical Joker production requirements. Including budget amounts, signed by Sam Strangus. Kind of nice to see. 9/23/66. Madge Blake's personal copies of Batman production shooting schedules for Batman's anniversary and Penguin is a Girl's Best Friend. Semple. Lorenzo Semple's signature on this card. All right, a copy of Neil Hamilton's script for Batman the Spell of Tut by Robert Dennis and Earl Barrett, July 13th, 1966. Second revised final, it says up there in the corner. Wow, I wonder if that's Hamilton's handwriting or if someone else jotted that on the front for him, but either way, it's we know that it was held by the man himself. I'm becoming such a geek. I never used to be this kind of fan geek until we started the show. I guess at the age of 50, it was about time I started getting really obsessive about something. Hey, I haven't been obsessive about comics or records or, electronics or anything like that. So clearly I needed a hobby. Batman call sheet, again from Madge Blake. Card and envelope that accompanied the flowers that Adam West had sent to Yvonne Craig for her first day on set on the set of Batman. The envelope is from Flower Fair and has a sending address. Handwritten message from Adam saying, "My warmest welcome to you, Yvonne. Let's have fun, Adam." He's probably writing that through his tears. I'm sure he wasn't blaming Yvonne, but it seems that he was quite distressed by the third season. Not by his own account, but certainly by the account of some others. Oh, Batman 66 movie script with the entire cast's autographs. Oh my gosh. Alan Napier, Burt Ward, Frank Gorshin, Burgess Meredith, Lee Merriweather. I don't see the entire cast. I don't see Cesar Romero. Oh, no, that's not. That's Adam West. Silly me. That's not exactly the entire cast. Anyway, I like the doodle there, the Lee Merriweather doodle. Again, I apologize for my inaccuracies and constant corrections, but, I am, as I mentioned, looking at all this for the first time. Oh, Tim. Oh, Tim. Bat coin collection. Not the bat coins that you and I remember, which were single color, red, blue, whatever, with plastic embossing on the raised plastic, the gold embossing on the raised plastic. But these are bat coins of some kind. These were aluminum collectible coins from '66. Bat scope mail-in offer. Doesn't say from where, but it's like a decent periscope. Corgi gift set. Batmobile and Batboat. We saw another one of those across directly behind me in the initial Bat Guano section I mentioned and showed in the first few minutes of this video. Ooh, the Corgi red tire Batmobile. A rarity. What else have we got down here? Replica plastic and satin Batman cowl with 8 signatures. West, Ward, Newmar, Merriweather, Malachi Throne, Yvonne Craig, George Barris, the Batmobiles, Pappy, and Joan Collins. Oh, I see. I don't know if I can. Wait. There she blows. There it is. I'm not sure why I'm using sailor language to describe any of this, but I believe that's Joan Collins' signature. I see. So don't say I never did anything for you. Actually, you were the last person who would ever say such a thing. Adam West, trying to keep my headphone cord out of the image. I'm doing this all on an iPhone 7. It's the ideal Robin Action Boy figure and Captain Action figure. Ah, yes, I'd forgotten. Captain Action could dress as various superheroes. This was a DC comic and toy tie-in from Ideal, which Captain Action had could change costumes and had many different options. Some superheroes, some just kind of generic action hero types like sailors and I don't know, Indian chiefs and bikers. Oh no, I'm sorry, I'm describing the Village People. Neil Hefti's Batman theme. Tiny replica of the original television soundtrack album of Batman, again from '66. I have a modern repressing of that I really, really like. Batman theme album from Billboard magazine. Framed Batman musical notation, handwritten by Neil Hefti, who is also the lyricist of the Batman theme, as we know. This is so great. The original set used Batman Pictures Incorporated sticker from Marcia Queen of Diamonds. And who knows what these guys are. That is a little bit scary, the kind of leprous Batman. And then this other Batman facial or bust here. I just don't know what to tell you. Oh, I see what this little banner is next to the nice, somewhat faded photo of Cesar Romero in makeup. Adam West's personal name plaque from the blue roll-fast banana bicycle he drove around the Culver Studios lot during the filming of the TV series. That's great. I wonder if he had Bat trading cards attached to his wheel with a clothesline clipper, a clothespin. Oh, here we are. These are some familiar small bits. Charter member of the Batman and Robin Society. That's kind of neat. Neat pin, 39 cents. Bat symbol decals must also be from, copyright 1966 by the L. and Whitney Company, New Haven, Connecticut. There's something familiar to Tim. This is a hardcover copy. I believe we had the paperback Big Little Book of the Cheetah Caper, which I remember reading several times. Possibly a lot more than several. Original Batman novel, a tie-in to the show called Three Villains of Doom. I can't quite make out the author of this masterpiece. Herman Melvin. No, just kidding. I'll see if I can find that out a little later. Original title card? Probably not. But fun to see. I like the offset coloring. It looks like a comic book. Slightly, coloring slightly out of whack. Batman card game, Batman flicker ring. I don't know if you can see the flicker. I don't know if anything but an eyeball could see these things change, but you know what I'm talking about. It's like the cover of under Satanic Majesty's Request, the kind of what do they call it? The lenticular flicker images. Like on the cover of that Rolling Stones record that was just reissued recently. Ooh, I really love the miscolored, sometimes non-American, un-American Batman stuff. Like red. I like the red costume. They got all the other colors right, though. It just seems because that part of the costume is red, it makes everything else look incorrect as well. Interesting. Anybody want some ice cream from 1966? Gosh, it'd be great if it were still in there, just kind of oozing all over the place. It's probably in someone's 1966 tummy right now. I'm running on fumes here, guys. I'm getting a little delirious. 66 Batman color photo trading set, aka Bat Laughs. Most backs showcase a Bat Laughs joke at the top and a puzzle piece at the bottom. Some backs showcase solely a puzzle piece, and the world was better off for it. These are nice. A little faded, but they're quite beautiful. Procter & Gamble sweepstakes, print ad, Batboat creators' signatures. How nice. I think they went to a little bit too much trouble to have their names emblazoned upon this strange little kind of Joseph Cornell box version of a framed autograph. Large format Adam West promotional book. Love to have a look in the interior of that. Maybe we can ask Wally to tell us what's inside. A lovely old copy. Looks like it must be in very good to fine condition of Screen Stories. The star's warning to Batman, beware of women. Well, doesn't every cover of every possible magazine in 1966 say something like beware of women? I wouldn't be surprised. Dell, huh? Dell Comics Company? Interesting. I guess wasn't so aware of their magazines, although Steve Bissett once showed me and gave me, in fact, a copy of a photo comic, a kind of fumetti that Dell published with a photo cover as well in the 1960s based on a television drama. Don't remember if it was Dr. Kildare. Anyway, so Dell did branch out into other kinds of comics as well as other formats, it seems. Batman AM Radio, Batman Cape and Mask. That mask looks really familiar. I think that was still in Ben Cooper's wheelhouse, in their warehouse, I should say, even in the early to mid-70s. Pix-A-Go-Go double feature show. So easy to see the show. Turn dial slowly. Featuring the Clown of Crime, the Joker, and the Last Laugh. Looks like a Dick Sprang or a Jerry Robinson drawing, kind of bastardized for the cover. Toy Bat phone. Batman cartoon kit. Looks like color forms, folks. Well, you gotta love the solid colors on each of those. That really would have pleased Tim and me as kids, right? Yep, it's a color form, all right. Oh, so here's what the two cases look like, side to side, or in their natural habitat. You know what, folks? It's time for me to have a good look around the whole exhibit without holding an iPhone up to my face. So I hope that you're able to hear me. Tim, you or I hope, can crank up the volume of some of this voiceover, which I need to keep fairly quiet. I don't want to disturb other visitors. I'm surprised no one has come to nab me already. But it's not a terribly well-populated museum as far as the members of the public, but it's relatively well attended, and God knows I'm glad that they extended the run of this show a little while. Just live in concert, Chad and Jeremy. I thought Tim and most of our regular listeners would really dig that for whatever reason. But you know what? I think to close this segment, I'm going to do another close-up of the lovely, the talented, the Plasty Wood, Leslie Gore as Pussycat. So, signing off once again, this is Paul of To the Batpoles infamy in California on July 11th, 2018, in order to do some research at the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences Margaret Herrick Library in the Douglas Fairbank building. Research not on Batman 66, but because I was here and am staying just around the block from the Hollywood Museum, there's no way I was going to miss this show. And gosh, I just hope that those of you who wanted to see this at least get some kind of taste of what the show was like, if in fact we're able to make any of this public. In any event, I can do the voiceover, and I can take stills from the film. But everyone out there, hope you enjoy whatever you're able to get out of my trip. And, don't be a stranger if you want to let us know what you think about this footage or what you think about the exhibit especially. Give us a ring, and in the meantime, don't take any wooden bookmarks. TTFN.